So, I've had a long week, I hope your week's gone well, but it's the final week for the Choir of One Catalyst. It's here. And again, obtaining it, play the mission, it's fairly straightforward. If you need help, check out Cactus, Cross, maybe Fallout has one. You have your people, you do you. We're gonna learn today. Now that we have the full craft, there's some cool things that go on with the perks, the mags, the stats with this thing. And I plan to go over Subsistence and Destabilizing too, but the new shiny option is Onslaught. And I plan to tie it all up, walk you through the craft on where to go, because it does change up a little bit depending on what you want to do with this thing. So there's some things to keep in mind. Very powerful weapon. It's extremely ammo hungry. And of course, that's depending on how you use it. Because on the flip side, it can be also very ammo efficient, like a rocket sidearm if you use the ADS mode the most. Very special weapon. And in the future, they're going to be lowering the reserves. But you could add on finders, there's reserve mods, maybe there's exotics to help you and your fire team, there's special ammo finisher. One or multiple of these things are going to be recommended once the reserve nerf happens, most likely, but Onslaught is really good for it. Final blows with this weapon increases its fire rate, and with Onslaught, there's a couple things that go on. One, not said, is you get extra reload, which is huge on this thing. There's going to be a whole section on it. The base reload's 31 when you have the craft going. Times 1 Onslaught is plus 15 reload, times 2 is 25, times 3 is 35. So the base reload could be doubled. Even at a times 1 stat going from 31 to 46 is huge for it. If you have something like Flared Magwell with Onslaught 3, the reload stat goes to 81. And again, more on that later. If you played with this weapon, reloading is a big deal, whether you're in ADS mode or Hipfire mode, because it allows you to get more damage on. And in the case of Onslaught, it keeps up your stack. But the second thing, this is a 225 RPM auto rifle. 225 RPM full auto, not a burst, single bullet weapon. There's only one other 225 RPM in the game. That's the last word. Basically, where it ends comes from where it starts. Now, when Onslaught activates, it applies a decreased firing delay, makes the RPM faster. At max times 3, it's a 37% firing delay or a 0.63. At times 3, the RPM goes to 363. But note, Onslaught's not going to place an RPM on a weapon that isn't in the game. It goes to the closest one available, which, in this case, is that of a 360 RPM auto rifle. And when you put them side by side, the RPMs match word for word, bar for bar. And in general, Onslaught means it's even more damage, even more DPS. And the Hipfire mode is wild. I imagine it's around 900 RPM at Onslaught 3. I didn't have the time to test it, but honestly, who cares? It's fast. Hipfire go burr. And if you've used it, you know that. And remember, it's basically a fourth horseman shotgun at that point. You want to be within 5 meters or so, and we get those Onslaught stacks up, it's big damage. But here's the deal. I started with it being a very ammo-hungry weapon, and Onslaught goes through ammo. But after playing with it, I found that the ADS mode is more beneficial with Onslaught 3. It's just a flat-out better weapon. It makes the ADS mode way better for damage overall. And on top, remember, the plus 35 reload you're getting with Onslaught 3. I was using the ADS mode as the preferred way, because you can tap fire it like a scout, go add to add, take them out. But when it comes to yellow bars, you're going to have stacks up. You can just rapid fire them down. You don't have to get in their face. You have to put yourself in danger if it's harder content in the Hipfire mode. But on the flip side, when you see a champion boss yellow bars in front of you, you can unload the Hipfire times 3 Onslaught. It's the best of both worlds. So is it the best catalyst for it? Possibly. We need to talk about and take into account some other things. And where that starts, next, I personally believe that the craft is 100% about handling and reload. That makes a lot of sense to me, because handling-wise, you do want to ADS faster, make it a little bit more snappy, but importantly, you want it to stow and ready faster. That goes and flows through the handling stat. That combination of more handling, more reload means that when you're in Hipfire mode, a faster reload means you get out more damage faster. It's more DPS. And faster handling means you can swap off this auto to go to a rocket or whatever. Bait and switch things. It's just a good combination for this weapon. So to me, all my crafts have fluted barrel and short action stock. Fluted's plus 15 handling, plus 5 stability. Short action stock is plus 15 handling. So the handling's taken care of. We've added plus 30 handling. But then we have the reload part. There's 2 options for that, Flared and Alloy. Flared's plus 15 reload and plus 5 stability. Alloy is a 0.85 reload multiplier. So how does that translate in terms of reload? Well, some things are expected, but some things not. And I believe that's because the reload curve for auto rifles isn't linear, meaning that you might get some bonuses on a high stat, similar to how on certain weapons, when you get below a certain stability, you actually get negative flinch. But this is reversed. Higher stat, more help. The choices themselves have you in one situation or the other. You have 46 reload stat with Flared or 31 reload stat with Alloy. Alloy's getting that reload multiplier. It's great for it. And this is that base 31 reload, and on the right is the end of the mag with Alloy. Much faster, like 19 frames faster. But this is fully expending the mag. And the part of the weapon that does that is the Hipfire. Now, it looks a little bit different, but the same thing. It's faster. This is allowing you to get damage back on faster in that Hipfire mode. It's a great thing. If you plan to Hipfire dump your shots, this is faster for it. No matter your catalyst. starting with that 31 reload. But what about flared versus alloy? So 46 reload versus 31 with alloy. Alloy is still faster by 2 frames. And again, the theme here is dumping the mag, especially in Hipfire. If you plan to use that part of this weapon a lot, alloy wins. Now, just the regular reload, flared wins. So if you're a compulsive reloader, it's not going to work out for you. We also have the autoloader perk within the artifact that goes against you, but not necessarily in Hipfire. So strictly talking, that Hipfire heat, say you're using destabilizing, that's your catalyst. You're dealing with the 31 reload, but the alloy part is helping those Hipfire shots the most over flared. But then it gets interesting. Let's bring in Onslaught. And let's just first talk about how fast Onslaught is. This is that base 31 alloy reload. It's not at the end of the mag, alloy isn't in. It's just showing how much faster Onslaught helps in general. 31 on the left, then scaling to 66 reload on the right, 25 frames faster than base. That's just Onslaught doing Onslaught things with its reload. And you see how much faster it is than that base reload. But then we do Onslaught 3 alloy versus the base Onslaught 3 that we just saw. Alloy mag is 15 frames faster. So what you thought was a lot faster earlier than base just got smoked. It's very, very interesting. And that also transfers to the Hipfire mode. That's the theme. Dumping these Hipfire shots over and over, getting big damage. But remember earlier, we went over the base 46 reload flared versus the 31 stat reload with alloy. Alloy was faster by a couple frames. Well, when you get that 46 reload stat at Onslaught 3, which means 81 total reload stat, and put that up against Onslaught 3 with alloy, now the flared version is faster by 1 frame. And in some cases the same. Like, when I went into Hipfire mode, they lined up perfectly, but on the second volley, that 1 frame difference is there. And that's pretty cool. Originally alloy won, but the overall reload stat is higher at 81 compared to 66. And again, I believe that that curve isn't linear and it's getting a boost. So what can we take from all this when you craft it? Well, 1, currently autoloaders in the artifact, that hurts alloy. That hurts subsistence a little bit, so keep all that in mind. But the main takeaway is if you plan to Hipfire a lot, I mean a lot, alloy is the pick. But that's with the destabilizing and subsistence pairing. Unless you use Onslaught, it then goes to flared magwell. Overall, it's going to be flared magwell, again, unless you plan to dump the mag a ton, which you're going to be doing from Hipfire, alloy's going to win. And this is all, of course, is on the grounds that handling and reload completed, which I believe that it does. It makes the most sense on how you use it and what you want to do with it. So with these 3 options, subsistence, it would be flared magwell, short action stock. When you do need to reload, the more reload's going to be there. And it's always a great perk. It gets even better when the artifact goes away. Nothing wrong with it. It's great. The stabilizing rounds, I love. It would be flared, fluted, short action stock. Unless you plan to Hipfire a ton, then you would go alloy. Because the stabilizing rounds already saves the most ammo out of all of these. Subsistence is getting ammo back in the mag as you shoot. Onslaught's dumping ammo. But as I talked about in the week 2 video with the stabilizing rounds, it has built-in ticks for those volatile rounds. The Hipfire shots explode. Every 3rd kill or so, there's the radiolarian fluid. All of that's hitting volatile, and it's getting collaterals. So out of all the options, it's the most ammo efficient. Hands down, no debate. You still get a decent reload with flared, you still have the Hipfire shot damage, but most of all, you have the build synergy. Titan Precious Scars controlled demo, Fellwinter Warlock, and that's a whole nother thing I think I might cover at some point with its own video. Foe Tracer Hunter's really good with it. Again, all of it's in that video. Then we have the new one, Onslaught. Onslaught wants you to play fast, but with the ammo economy for it, you want to play a bit slower, and I don't mean literally, I just mean placing each shot, be very deliberate, because it really starts bringing out the ADS mode with Onslaught 3. Like, it's a great thing. Target to target, pick them off. When you see yellow bars at a distance, you just lay into them. It's just faster overall. Then, of course, you have the Hipfire Onslaught, which is its own deal. And if you have flared, it's the fastest you can go to get that reload back. And with all the testing, like, I didn't include reloaders. All of that's on top. There's not a wrong answer. There's not. Because it's all up to you. I laid out some guidelines where it can excel. It depends on what you're going to do with it, how you are going to use it. Destabilizing is great all around. It saves the most ammo. It has the most build synergy and interactions. Subsistence is just flat out great, and Onslaught's the most power. It's the most DPS. So take into account what you like to do, your add-ins, finders, loaders, finishers, subclasses, builds, exotics. There's a right perk for you, but in the end, this is one of the best weapons in the game. Very high damage for a special ammo auto rifle. It has big damage in ADS mode, it has big damage in Hipfire mode. This is a masterpiece of a weapon. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Choir of One down below. Which catalyst is your favorite? Tell us why, and how do you like to build craft with it? Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.